What is going on, everybody? Mark from Double Clutch Auto Reviews here. Thank you again so much for tuning in for another review video. Today I have a very interesting and special truck for you. This is my buddy Marc's 2006 Dodge Ram SRT-10. Dare I say the most Murica truck of the mid-2000s, or perhaps of all time. Essentially, this is a full-size pickup truck with a Dodge Ram 1500 platform with a Dodge Viper powertrain. This truck has an 8.3-liter V10 making 505 horsepower and 225 pound-feet of torque. When this truck came out, it broke a world record for the world's fastest production pickup truck at a top speed of 154 miles an hour. Just put that into perspective. This huge full-size pickup truck can go 150 plus miles an hour. Another crazy fact is that this truck has 50 more horsepower and is faster than a new Ford Raptor. This truck is also relatively rare with overall low production numbers, and in 2006 only 283 of these regular cab SRT-10s came in this cranberry red metallic paint. And this truck is also pretty much completely bone stock, except Marc put in a short throw shifter, which he said makes all the difference in the world. Usually a pickup truck has a very long shift if it's a manual transmission. This one is very notchy and has a very short throw. This truck also has 20-inch wheels instead of the 22-inch that it comes with stock, and they're also black rather than that brushed aluminum finish. So I'll give you a quick little history about the Dodge Ram SRT-10. The Dodge Ram SRT-10 debuted in 2004 and was made for 3 production model years, 2004 to 2006. The 2006 model year, which is this truck, was known to be the best out of the 3 model years. One of the reasons for this was that the 2004 and 2005 model years had more Ram 1500 parts, while this truck was given more Ram 2500 parts. The 2006 model year Ram SRT-10 also has a much stronger front end than the previous 2 model years, which I think you can certainly feel when you're taking corners on the road. Now, this truck was offered in 2 configurations that you could buy it in: a quad cab or 4-door with a 4-speed automatic transmission, and this one, the regular cab, which comes in a 6-speed manual transmission. All of the quad cabs are automatic and all of the regular cabs were manual. Also, all of these trucks are rear-wheel drive. There was no 4-wheel drive option for the SRT-10. And this one, being the regular cab, of course has a 6-speed manual. I prefer the manual over the automatic for many reasons. Not only is the truck more engaging and fun to drive with the manual transmission, but with that, you're able to select the gears and have much more precise throttle control over this thundering 8.3-liter V10 in front of you. The automatic quad cab version of this truck was also more expensive, around $52,000 sticker price MSRP back in 2006, versus this truck right around $47,000 to $48,000 sticker price. The manual transmission also gets better fuel economy, rated around 9 in the city and 12 on the highway, versus the automatic getting around 8 in the city and 10 on the highway. With that being said about the fuel economy, if you're buying this truck, the last thing you should be worried about is your miles per gallon. And this 8.3-liter V10 only is supposed to take premium fuel. So I feel really bad for Marc when he has to go to the gas station and fill this truck up. It's about the smiles per gallon, not the miles per gallon. And lastly, the regular cab weighs about 550 pounds less than the quad cab version. This one being about 5,150 pounds and the quad cab being about 5,690 pounds. According to Edmunds, the max payload is 1,100 pounds and the max towing capacity is around 8,150 pounds. However, with that being said, I think this truck can pull a whole lot more than 8,150 pounds. I think they underestimated that rating by a long shot. The only drawback, of course, with having the regular cab versus the quad cab is that you lose all that practicality of having 4 doors and a full back seat. Now, there are several ways to tell the difference between the Ram SRT-10 and your average, boring, normal Ram 1500. The first thing you might notice are the front and rear bumpers that are larger and have more of an aggressive race car oriented styling. They're larger and lower to the ground, and the front bumper also has this lip right at the bottom, which gives the whole truck's stance a lower, more aggressive look. There's also the little side skirt add-ons on the side of the doors. There's also lots of badging around the truck that lets you know that it has the heart of a Viper, including the Viper powered badge right on the hood cowl right here, and the SRT-10 badge on the sides of the doors and on the rear tailgate. And last but not least, the unmistakable power bulge on the hood, as Dodge calls it. Yes, Dodge calls it the power bulge. Now, before I open the hood, there's a little Easter egg I'd like to show you about this truck. You see the hood scoop right here? In the mesh, you can see that Dodge filled in a couple of the holes to make triangles to look like Viper teeth. I like the idea with where they were going with this, but I honestly think they didn't really know what Viper teeth looked like. Here's a comparison of a photo of an actual viper snake. You can see that they only really have 2 big teeth in the front and not 6 teeth all the way across the top and bottom of their mouth. But anyway, neat little Easter egg if you notice that. They were going for that open mouth viper about to bite you angry look on the hood scoop right here. And now we'll get to the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's take a look under the hood. And now take a look at this. This is the 8.3 liter V10 Viper motor. This is probably one of the biggest engines you will ever see in a vehicle. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is just monstrous. It sits all the way back, all the way to the firewall. But what's funny is that I've noticed the engine sits a lot lower in the engine bay than you would expect. So that power bulge on the hood cowl, it's actually kind of unnecessary, just for show. But it still looks cool, and what looks even cooler is this engine. I cannot get enough of looking at this engine. You don't see many vehicles out there with an engine like this under the hood. This is truly a special truck. And now moving on to the rear of the SRT-10, let's talk about what makes this truck way more special than an average normal Ram 1500. First and foremost, we must talk about the tonneau cover with the spoiler mounted on top that you get from the factory. I always thought this was hilarious when I would see one of these on the road. I would think, a spoiler on a pickup truck? Doesn't that just take away all the practicality out of a truck? But in fact, it is actually easily removable. You can either use this tonneau cover as you would a normal tonneau cover, or you can remove the tonneau cover and the spoiler as a whole and use it as a traditional pickup truck bed. And a really cool fun fact about this spoiler, you would think on a pickup truck, oh, that's just for show, it's just to make it look like a performance truck. Not true. In fact, this spoiler has been wind tunnel tested by Dodge, and it adds 165 pounds of downforce to the rear wheels. That's insane. I would never think that a little spoiler like this would actually have a function, but it does. And with this truck being able to hit speeds of over 150 miles an hour, I think I'd like that extra downforce. And of course, the huge tailpipe coming from the exhaust, which sounds wonderful. Last but not least, the SRT-10 badge, which makes this truck unmistakable from a normal Ram 1500. Okay, jumping into the interior of the Ram SRT-10. The first thing that I noticed that's special about this truck are the seats. These are the same style seats that you get when you buy a Dodge Challenger SRT-8 from this generation. They are surprisingly comfortable with very good bolstering to keep you in place in corners. The second thing you notice jumping into this regular cab pickup truck is the second best thing about it, the manual transmission. This short shifter that Marc had installed is super notchy. You can certainly feel that it's not like your normal manual transmission pickup truck. But I've also heard that the stock Hurst shifter that comes with this truck from the factory is also very notchy and feels very solid for a pickup truck transmission. On the dashboard, there's a lot of plastic, nothing really too special about it. However, people buying this truck weren't buying it for the interior amenities. They were buying it for what's under the hood. That's one of the reasons why the cost of this truck was kept so low for what you're getting. Dodge wanted to give people the option to buy a Viper powertrain at a significantly reduced cost. And this is the way to do it, by not focusing on putting the money into a luxurious interior, but rather underneath the hood. Despite this truck's very basic looking interior, it actually comes with more creature comforts than you would expect. For one, a very luxurious feature for 2006 was having power adjustable pedals. You don't see that very often in trucks of this generation. There's also heated seats for the driver and passenger, as well as an infinity subwoofer that comes from the factory. Dodge also put a oil temp gauge on the A-pillar, which is convenient to have. Definitely makes this truck feel more performance oriented when you hop in the driver's seat. The center console is average, has 2 tiers and holds about what you would expect. Something to note about this particular model, this does not flip up to make a third seat. This is a true only 2-passenger vehicle. And starting this truck is also an interesting process. You turn the key to the on position, but it doesn't turn farther than that as you would in a normal car when you start it. You have to turn the key to the on position and then hit the engine start button, and the 8.3 liter V10 roars to life. Other than that though, this interior is pretty standard for what you would expect for a mid-2000s pickup truck. And as far as badging goes, you notice that the SRT-10 logo is on each door and on each headrest, as well as in the gauge cluster on the tachometer and on that oil temp gauge. And when doing a review on this truck, of course I'm going to rant and rave about the Viper engine and transmission. However, we must not forget to mention the braking power this truck has. This SRT-10 comes with huge brakes, massive calipers with drilled and slotted rotors in the front and back, which allows for impressive stopping power. All right, guys, let's fire up this 8.3 liter V10 beast of a truck and take it out on the road for a spin. All right, now we're getting out on the road and taking out the Dodge Ram SRT-10. Oof, this shifter is super notchy. Wow. That's I'm not used to that. My truck is like, whoa, whoa. On the outside, it's just an old Dodge Ram pickup truck, but underneath the skin is a V10 8.3 liter Viper powertrain. Just crazy. It rides like a truck. You know, it's a little bumpy and lumbery as you would expect. Wow. That V10 really roars. Wow. Hope the GoPro is holding up back there. With my ratchet strap job. Definitely doesn't feel like a average pickup truck. You can certainly feel the powertrain and the suspension difference in this truck versus like a normal Ram 1500. You can feel that the suspension is giving you decent feedback and whatnot. Come on, Prius, get out of my way. This exhaust note is Prius repellent. Look at that. This is one hell of a truck. This truck is hilarious to drive. It's just so Murica. I love it. That V10 sounds so good. I can listen to that all day. It's really not deafening at all. You could totally just listen to it in the background. It's not like it's blowing out your eardrums constantly. It's not very drony is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't resonate through the vehicle and into the cabin as much as some other cars that I've driven do. But when you hammer the throttle, it certainly livens up and gets a lot louder. I can only imagine this thing with an aftermarket exhaust or headers or even like a Pro Charger, Supercharger. It would be bonkers. Clutch is super easy. No problem at all getting used to that. Very easy to figure out where it bites. That is certainly not an issue. Now we're gonna do a little bit of a pull here. First gear dig? Oh, yes. All right. Oh my God, that is crazy fast. Holy wow. So right now I'm going 71 on the highway and I'm cruising at 1750 RPMs and it is docile. I can still hear that exhaust in the back, but it's quiet. It's really not intolerable at all. I could definitely take this on a long road trip if I had to. Man, this thing hammers. It's kind of unreal to think that a truck is this fast. Wow. The only thing is the transmission. I don't know if it's just me being scared. I just don't want to jam it in. It seems like it's like, don't force me. With some more practice, I feel like I can get a better handle on how it shifts. But at first, it's kind of intimidating. You almost feel like you're forcing it into gear when you're really revving it out. But I tell you, this thing pulls for days. There was a car already on the highway, and I was on the on-ramp, and it was like nothing. Like, he wasn't even moving. Marc says when he merges on the highway, he usually has to hit the brakes to merge with traffic. There's no problem getting on the highway in this truck, that's for sure. Did a little bit of a roll and burnout, too. So now I'm on it in 6th gear on the highway. It's almost like my motorcycle. Like, it doesn't matter what gear I'm in, I just put the throttle down. Even if it's in a really high gear, you just put the throttle down, and it starts pulling, and you're like, oh, wow, okay. Guess I don't need to downshift. So Marc races on the track a lot, and he trailers his Porsche Cayman, his track car, behind this, and he says he's in the hills of Pennsylvania going to a track, and he doesn't even have to downshift going up hills. The thing just has so much torque. Life is too short for slow cars. That's what Marc says. Life is too short for slow cars. And that includes his big truck that he uses for towing his track car. Come on, get in there. You know what's surprising? I haven't seen the fuel gauge. Like, I'm not watching it go down as of right now. I'm sure you, over a day of driving though, you see that needle just go. At slower speeds, the shifter definitely feels less intimidating. It feels like you can go into gear more easily. I don't know, maybe it's just me. At higher speeds, I feel like I just don't want to abuse it. I feel like I'm jamming it in there. And once you get used to it, it's fun to shift. Marc says it's like a truck that doesn't know it's a sports car. When you mash the throttle, that's when the exhaust really opens up. Man, you hear it. Fun truck. Definitely a fun truck. Certainly a little bit clunky and lumbery and crashy as you would expect from a 15-year-old truck, but man, this powertrain is unreal. The problem when the TRX Rebel comes out, yes, it's going to be the redo of this, which is going to have 700 plus horsepower, I think. But the problem is, I can guarantee you, they're not going to offer it in a manual, which is very sad. I mean, sure, the automatic might actually be faster nowadays, but it's not the same experience as driving a stick shift. This is truly a special experience. There's not many vehicles like this out on the road. These are rare trucks to begin with, especially a regular cab short bed V10 stick shift pickup truck. It's just not something you see every day. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was an absolute blast. Thank you again to my boy Mark for letting me drive this truck for the day. This was so much fun. What an experience. Catch you all in the next one and have a great day. Take care, guys. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed my review video of the 2006 Dodge Ram SRT-10. To sum up my experience with driving this truck, I would say that the worst aspect of it was the gear lever was extremely difficult to master when shifting. Perhaps this is just me not knowing what I'm doing, or I just need some more time and practice with getting used to it. However, I did notice after driving the truck for about 20 to 30 minutes, I was able to shift the transmission much more smoothly after I had some seat time. The clutch, on the other hand, was very easy to figure out. I had no problem figuring out where the clutch caught. The clutch was very well designed. And the best aspect of that truck was obviously that 8.3 liter V10 Viper motor. 505 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque. Oh, all the noises and the amount of torque that that beast produced was sensational. What an experience. Hands down makes that truck totally worth buying, especially if you can find a used one with decently low miles. And speaking of a clean SRT-10 with decently low miles, believe it or not, Marc's truck is also for sale. You can check it out on Marc's website at www.thecarstorema.com. He has tons of interesting used vehicles for sale, some of them hard to come by for reasonable prices. And as of July 2020, he's also offering free delivery for anywhere in the continental US. So check out his website and see what he has in his collection. The link is in the description below. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. Take care, guys. Have a great day.